my name is Hannah Damas for the Today Show, and today I am interviewing our very own Abraham Lincoln. Abe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Okay, Abe, I have a few questions for you. We all know that you were the president. Can you tell us a little bit about your family and about your life before presidency?
I married Mary Todd Lincoln, and together we had 4 children: Robert Todd Lincoln, Edward Eddie Baker Lincoln, William Willie, I love calling him Willie, Wallace Lincoln, and Thomas Tad Lincoln. Robert Todd Lincoln was the only one of my children to survive to adulthood.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
It's okay. Mary and I shared the love for animals. I adore my horse, Old Bob. Oh, Bob.
Bob, that's a gorgeous name.
We also keep a dog called Fido and many other pets in the house, as we were an important part of our family. Mary, my wife, was born on December 13th. I love that number.
Do you know that's unlucky though?
Not for me. With a wealthy family background in Kentucky, she received a huge amount of education and lived a luxurious lifestyle. When she married, her family disagreed with her choice because of my less wealthy background.
Oh, how poor were you?
Really poor.
Oh. Oh, geez. Can you tell me a little bit about your hobbies? What did you enjoy doing with your family, Abe?
Well, I enjoy running my store in New Salem. I like to spend time with my horses, especially Old Bob, cats, dogs, and my turkey. In my free time, I like to practice wrestling and messing around, and not to blow my own horn, but I'm pretty good with an axe, even though I don't like killing or hurting animals for any reason at all.
Wow, that is very impressive. How long have you been wrestling?
Well, you see, it wasn't an actual sport back in my day, but I had to learn how to wrestle the chickens on the farm for food, so since the day I came out of the womb, I suppose.
That is just incredible. What an awe-inspiring story you have there. Can you tell me a little bit about how did you further your education? You talked a little bit about life on the farm. How's that transition to college and to other schools?
Well, I didn't attend school due to my family's lack of finances, and we lived too distant from any surrounding schools. I became president during the Civil War, becoming the 16th president with little education, and my stepmother, who taught me how to read.
That is very impressive. It seems like you've overcome a lot to become where you are today.
Thank you.
Why did you want to be president? You talked about your past, and you talked about how you didn't really get the chance to get that education. Why was presidency always a dream for you?
Well, I got into politics so that my name will be remembered for doing something good. When I was young, I stated, "Every man is said to have a particular ambition. I, for one, no other so great as that of being truly esteemed by my fellow man by rendering myself worthy of their esteem." Personally, I felt as though there were 2 things very important in preserving democracy: prevent expansion of slavery into Western territories, and prevent the Union from splitting up. And I wanted to be the one who prevented both of those from occurring.
That is incredible. Including all that information and why you wanted to be president, was it a lot harder than you expected? Did you face some struggles? If so, could you name some?
Well, being president meant many long days from morning into the late evening. Because I had worked long hours most of my life, adjusting to life in the White House came pretty easy to me. I would have to say being the president was something that I didn't quite enjoy because it was a very hard time for the United States of America.
That's very true. It was a very hard time, and you did a great job of controlling America. Why do you always wear a tall black hat? I'm seeing you're wearing one today. It looks like, you know, a nice hat to keep your head warm. Is there any other reasons that you wear
Well,
it?
actually, I was one of many men in the era that indulged in the fashion of the stovepipe hat.
Oh, yes.
Mine differed from many in ways such that it was taller and had a flattened brim. My hat also came in handy for storing papers when I was working as a lawyer. They just fit right in here perfect. And then I have my hands free when I'm walking around.
That is just incredible. It kind of reminds me of those African ladies, you know, that carry the fruit on their heads. Anyway, so how will your legacy affect the people of the United States? I know you've done a ton of incredible things. What stands out to you to be the thing that will last longest and that will hold the legacy of Abraham Lincoln?
Well, although I will not be alive physically, I hope to live on the minds and hearts of people all over the world who believe that men everywhere should be free.
You talked about your family, but can you talk about your life before presidency? That seemed to strike some humor when you're talking about tackling the chickens, you know. We all love hearing a good chicken tackling story. So if you could just tell us a little bit about your life before presidency, about your family, perhaps.
Well, I was born on February 12, 1809 in Hardin County, Kentucky. My parents were both born in Virginia, of undistinguished families, second families, perhaps I should say. My mother, who died in my 10th year, was from a family by the name of Hanks. My father removed from Kentucky to Indiana in my 8th year. It was a wild region with many bears and other wild animals in the woods. There I grew up. Of course, when I came of age, I didn't know much. Still, somehow, I could read, write, and cipher, but that was all.
That is just incredible. So, the bears, did you ever have any crazy interactions with any?
Not the kind that you're probably thinking of, although my mother did make me wear a bell around my neck when I went out in the woods to cut down trees because she didn't want me to come back in different parts, missing an arm or maybe even a leg.
Anyway, what was your most controversial decision as president? I know as president you face lots of difficulties.
Oh, yes.
And no one's, there's going to be a certain point where someone will disagree with you. You can never please anyone. So everyone.
Well, the doctrine of habeas corpus is the right of any person under arrest to appear in person before the court, to ensure that they have not been falsely accused. The U.S. Constitution specifically protects the right in Article 1, Section 9. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. I initially supported habeas corpus in the border state of Maryland in order to try large numbers of civilian rioters in military courts and to prevent the movement of Confederate troops on Washington. The order was eventually extended in response to different threats. In the summer of 1862, I had called up the state militias, leading an increased opposition to the Civil War within the Union. My General Orders number 141, September 25, 1862, I subjected protesters to martial law and the suspension of habeas corpus.
Wow, I would have to agree that was a very controversial decision, and since this is a neutral station, I will not state my standpoint on that, but I agree that was very controversial. And now to end it off, what do you think your most famous speech was?
Well, in the late 1863, I was invited to give a brief address at the dedication of a military cemetery on the site of the Battle of Gettysburg, which had been fought the previous July. I chose the occasion to make a major statement on the war, emphasizing that it was a just cause. I intended to be fairly brief, and in crafting the speech, I created a masterpiece of conscience writing. The entire text of the Gettysburg Address is less than 300 words, but it carried enormous impact and remains one of the most quoted speeches in human history.
That is incredible. I would have to agree that is my favorite speech, short and sweet, just like I like it. It was so nice interviewing Abe. Just have a great rest of the day, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Now signing off.